Today we're going to learn about gelatin print making, which is another way that you can make prints. Gelatin is similar to like Jello gelatin or Knox gelatin. That's actually how this printmaking came to be. You can make your own gelatin trays at home. However, they don't last forever. They only last about a week if you keep them in the refrigerator. So some of the different art companies came up with their own versions of last forever gelatin printing plates. So they just call them gel printing plates. This is the brand Gelli Arts, just one of many different companies that make these, and they are for monoprinting without a press. So monoprinting is just printing one time, like you make one print and then you have to add more ink or you have to play around with it and make another print. So mono just means one. For this one, we have a whole bunch of little squares for each person. So you'll get one of these gelatin plates. And let me show you how this works. You are going to, first of all, have to prep your work area. So when you're prepping your work area, we want to make sure that we peel off one of these. They have these little plastic things on each side. You want to peel off just the top one. I might do this for you ahead of time if we have time. But if not, you're going to peel this off and then just give it to me. Give it to Mrs. Shoemaker. All right, and the other thing is we want to make sure that we do use some placemats. This is one of the small placemats. No, it's a little harder to see that on there. But you want to use a small placemat. Now, this stuff is gooey and bendy. It's kind of like Jello jigglers, but a little bit thicker. We're going to use some paint next. We're going to ink up. Ta-da. And if you remember how to ink up from the other years we've done printmaking, you're going to have some paint in a tray. This is just tempera paint. You can use different inks. You can use acrylic. We're going to use tempera. But I'm just going to do a little bit on here. I don't need a ton. And then I'm going to put some onto my gelatin little square here. It does not have to be perfect. Kind of the fun of this one is just to experiment. So I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. I do have some blue. I'm going to add a little blue in here too. Just kind of see what happens. Kind of move him around a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit more fun. And you don't want to be real rough. You want to be kind of gentle with your gelatin. All right, the next thing we're going to do is add some textures. Adding textures is all kinds of weird little things, and I'll put some out at your tables. I have some of the clay things that we use, like some of the placemat stuff we use for clay. I have some rollers. I have different tools. But you just kind of go along and press down gently. And then you're going to lift that off, and it just makes a little crazy kind of design on your gel plate. Just kind of experiment. Don't be too rough with it. Some of these rollers are fun to use too. Let me try one of these guys. See what happens. One more. Ooh, I like that one. Let's go some up here too. Okay. Once you're done inking up, remember this from last year, you're going to pull a print. You're going to put some paper on top of that gelatin square and you're going to pull a print. In this case, I'm using a circle. I'm doing this for dot day, but we don't have to do it for dot day, but this year we are. So I'm going to very carefully set it down in the middle. Just kind of rub, rub, rub. And then peel it off and see what I get. Kind of fun. This is on red paper, so the yellow doesn't show up fabulously, but I'm going to try it again with a white paper. So I'll get a little bit more ink, a little bit more paint, and I think I want a little bit more blue this time. So here's a little bit more blue. He looks like fun. Ooh, right across the middle. All right, and here's that roller again. Let's do something different. A little bit of that texture from the silly placemat. Maybe I can overlap a little. Stamp a couple times. As long as you're gentle, you can do a lot with this. You can take something kind of soft and you can do designs in it also. You notice I didn't use a point, I just used a real soft end. Okay, pull a print. Rub, rub, rub. And then very carefully peel off. Ooh, I like that one a little bit better. Although maybe when the other one dries, he might be a little bit brighter. Yeah, he's coming back. Okay, so you'll get to make 2 prints. We're going to pick one that you like for the dot project altogether to show off for dot day, and then another one that you can dry and take home right away. But you're going to pull 2 prints. When you're done pulling your 2 prints, it'll be time to clean up. How do we clean these guys? Very easily. We use some baby wipes. Gentle, gentle. Just get a baby wipe from Mrs. Shoemaker, from me. And you just kind of wipe it off. It's not going to be perfectly clean once we use it. This was a new one, so it's going to have a little bit of remnant, but I'm going to go through and just kind of wipe it off as best I can. Once it's wiped off pretty well, throw out your wipe. Get one of these back from me and put that clear coat back on so it's a little sandwich. Protective covering, gelatin, protective covering. Should have protective covering on the front and the back. All right, and that is gel printing.